Music's bumping. AD's got the flow. Matt's got the head bob. Todd's got absolutely nothing. Welcome in episode 5 of the Inner Circle podcast. Zach Klein, Todd France, Matt Ryan, Aaron Donald. A busy weekend all around the football world. Matt, you were in Kansas City, my old stomping grounds. How'd KC treat you, man? I'm a KU Jayhawk. Hopefully they lost, but Chiefs looked like they're back to being legit. Did you have fun in KC?
We had a good time. Kansas City's a cool spot and have been out there a couple times now. Was there for AFC Championship game last year and played out there a bunch, but we had fun. We stayed, in the Lowe's down there, which Travis Kelce and Pat had just opened up their restaurant, I guess a couple weeks before. So we went there Saturday night. Shout out to them for letting us come in and have dinner. It was really good. It's a cool spot. They've done a good job. So we had a blast out there, man.
Did you leave him with the tab?
I took care of it. I
You should have left him with the tab.
Big money. Big money.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, that's great. Zach, by the way, you started already trying to push my buttons, so get ready for the show.
Oh, yeah, I'm back. I survived last week, took a lot of heat on social media. Everybody in Atlanta still loves Matt and the quarterback situation. We can talk about Michael Penix representing 313 and change.
Hey, let's start there, Zach. Should there have been a competition last week, or
I was going
should
to
there be a
ask
competition
that.
this
I
week?
wanted to
What's
ask
up?
No competition. There should always be competition, just not competition for QB1. So
For the record, Zach, for the record, Aaron, Matt, and I were
words.
texting all weekend and just coming up with all these. We just ripping on you all without you, just letting you know. Every time Penix made a completion, AD and Matt were on the text.
He balled. Listen, he was fantastic, and we can start there. We had a fun thing with Bijan. I'm going to play this. This is after the game, because in that game, Bijan got caught from behind for would have been nearly about an 80-yard touchdown reception from Penix. It was a beautifully thrown ball, and in this situation, he gets caught from behind. So we asked him about getting caught from behind, and he said, "Yeah, I'm going to get fined for that." So I want to hear your thoughts on this.
It's a fine. That's a fine in every room too. It's just like, I was so mad.
Well, you were in charge of the fines. What would it be?
Oh, I am in charge of fines. But can't be disclosed.
So they got Tyler Algier says he's in charge of the fines. AD and Matt, what's the code? What's the locker room code? Break down the fine situation for me that you guys had some fun with your teammates.
Yeah, that's just having some fun. I know in the D-line room we had some fines for some guys. If you out there getting bullied, if you getting pancaked or something like that, you're going to get your ass ripped and you're going to definitely get a little fine. And it could be whatever the guy want to put. You can have a little fun with it, but, nothing too crazy. But
Is it like $100 or is it like $1,000?
it depends how we feel that day.
Yeah.
Well, what the guy's contract's worth, AD, you were getting $1,000.
Go.
You actually never got fined, actually.
He
So-
wasn't getting pancaked.
Yeah, this is just players only, right?
Yeah.
Players only, yes.
Yeah, it's players only. And each room typically has kind of a system for how they do it. I know, like in our quarterback room, it was just usually 3 of us. So we had like no fines in our quarterback room, right? It was just laughing about every other group that was doing it. The offensive line in our building, they were probably the most detailed. So they had the fines on the whiteboard in there and what the dollar amount was for each fine. And they kept a kind of running pot for the year and then would do a big dinner at the end of the year with all of the fine money. Same went for our wide receivers, running backs, tight ends. They had a big book and we had a different bookkeeper each year. And so we would be on the sideline at certain times. Like if Bijan got tackled inside the 5, that was a fine in the running back room or the wide receiver room. And we'd be coming to the sideline, hopefully after we scored a touchdown, but they were like, put him in the book. Put him in. And so I can't remember what the fine was for getting tackled inside the 5, but I have to tell a funny story. Michael Turner, my rookie year, I think Mike Jenkins he must have had 8 or 9 completions where he got tackled inside the 3, right? Michael Turner would come to the huddle every time afterwards with his big high-pitched voice laughing. He'd be like, "Thank you. Thank you." And Michael Turner had I forget how many touchdowns he had that year. He had 20-some touchdowns, most of which were inside that 3-yard line, and most of them came off of Michael Jenkins getting tackled inside the 5. So not only did Jenk get fined, he gave Michael Turner an incredible season that year too.
That's fantastic. Good fun all in all. Yeah, so Bijan's getting fined. Tyler Algier is running point on that. A good way for the Falcons to head into the bye week. All around, some pretty good football. Starting with that Sunday night game, the Cowboys and Packers, Micah's return. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think at the end of that game, nobody wanted to see it go in overtime.
Well, you get 5 quarters to try to get it done. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure them guys didn't want another quarter of that. If you can't get it done by then, it's like you don't want to do it like college football and keep going and going until somebody win. I think it was a hard-fought game, man. I'm gonna start off by tipping my hat to my dog Dak, man. He had a day. He's playing some good football right now. The Cowboys defense is still having some struggle. I think both sides of the ball wasn't great defense, but the Cowboys is still giving up a lot. And for Dak to keep bailing them guys out, playing the way he's playing, man. If the defense can pick it up a little bit, I think they can go on a little run with how Dak playing right now. He's at an MVP level. I think they did good with containing Micha. I think Micha had some good rushes that he got close, but he did good with getting the ball out of his hands and chipping them, trying to find ways to slow him down. So I think they had a great game plan that they stuck with and had it going, man. I don't think I probably did play in an overtime game. I don't remember. I'll have to look back and see if I ever played in an overtime game. Not sure, but I know if we played 5 quarters, I wouldn't want to do another quarter after playing 5. We don't get it done, man. So.
I'm not asking Matt about his overtime.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say, Zach.
We'll move on from that.
No,
What are we
I want to
doing?
know. Let's talk about it.
Oh, come on, AD. So
Let's
I
talk
played in
about
a
it. I don't
for another
couple of
episode.
I played in a couple of overtime games. One being the Super Bowl. Obviously, I wish that the Super Bowl went differently.
We
And
ain't got to talk about that one.
honestly,
That's
I
what I'm
wish the
saying.
rules were different at
We
that
ain't
time
gotta talk about
too,
that one.
right? That both teams got an opportunity to get the ball. But that's neither here nor there. In the regular season, I played in it once in Indy. My first game in Indy, I think it was, my first game in Indy, we tied the Texans in overtime. That was a weird way to start the year. Like you go out there, you're ready, you're geared up, you do all this stuff, you play 5 quarters of football, and then you're like, what the, like
Yeah.
we're 0-1, so it was a really strange way to start the year. But I sort of agree with AD. I think, given the length of the season, the number of guys available on the roster, 45, 46 on game day, I just don't think it's feasible to play more than that, right? And so inevitably these things come up, like this is going to be a tiebreaker or some kind of thing. You talk about what's going on in the NFC North with the Packers and the Lions and the separation now that starts to take place in the month of October and November. Like these are huge at the end of the year. So I think it's the right thing. I think it's ending it. It sucks. You don't want to tie, but I think ending it at the end of that 5th quarter is appropriate.
AD, I got a question for you. You talked about Micah's getting double teamed and chipped all night long, and like everyone on the telecast was showing all the replays and everything about the game plan, which I thought was a great plan. But you live that life every week. 2 players, double teamed, triple teamed. I've seen pictures of you being double and triple teamed and all that type of stuff. Like, what's the mindset? Like, how do you deal with that week in, week out? And since they're game planning to not let you be the one that ruins the game for them, how do you game plan the opposite way to make sure you still have an impact? I'm very, very curious about that, other than like a crazy mindset.
Yeah, well, it's frustrating for sure. Definitely when you want to be a guy to be out there to be productive. You want to get them opportunities, get them one-on-ones. But the more success you have, obviously, the respect factor you get, right? Guys don't want you to find ways to to ruin a game. So I think it becomes, as you get older, I know what I did was I started to, sit down with my position coach, with my D coordinator, and really come up with different schemes and things we can do to try to get more one-on-one opportunities that I see even doing exotic blitzes and things like that, or obviously running games with my defensive line from test games, gut games, things like that. Depends how exotic you want to get. But it get harder, right? It's going to continue to get harder for them. I think them continue to come up with good ways of trying to get them matched up. And at the same time, you kind of dictate where the slide protection is going to go when you got your guy, they're going to slide the protection to him. So you're able to do a blitz off the backside and maybe get somebody to come free, right? Or, have an overload on one side, have him more on the back, the weak side where he can get a true one-on-one. And he get that one-on-one opportunity, you gabbling and hoping he going to get that win for you. So there's a lot of different things you can do. Mentally, it's exhausting, but it's a lot more just studying the offensive lineman, trying to find tendencies. Now you got to understand that you're going to get chipped. You're going to get the slides, right? How can I find ways to defeat this? What games can I do? The more he play with his defensive line, it's going to be natural reaction where he can just look at a guy and be like this. Like I would look at Kobe my last year, and I look at him, and I give him a nod. He already know we running the game. I know they slide the protection. Let me get out this slide protection. Let me try to wrap around, get free, make something happen. So, the more you play the game, the more that he gonna play with the guys. They'll pick it up and obviously talking with the D coordinator, trying to find ways to continue to get you freed up and trying to still be productive and be the guy you want to be.
I think from the offensive perspective, like when you're playing against Micah or you're playing against AD, whatever, the only way you're going to get out of those double teams is if other guys step up, right?
Exactly.
Like other guys have to go win. Other guys got to win their one-on-one matchups when they get it so that you can't just account for him the entire time, right? And so the two ways I see it, right? Other guys got to win or you got to get the numbers right, meaning, you've got to send 5 or 6 guys in terms of pressures. So it's 6 on 6, right? That's the only way to get one-on-ones is to get the numbers right. So defense has to send as many as the offense has in protection, or other guys got to go out there and win. And you watch that. And honestly, that's what Green Bay's done a good job of that, throughout the season. Other guys winning, Rashawn Gary on the other side winning. But that's the number one way to get guys out of that.
AD, it seems to me, I can't fathom the mental strength that one must have for week after week, game after game. You are going to be double, or as Todd said, triple teamed. So do you play like a game within a game for yourself where you might not get the sack total or the tackles for loss that you want, but is there I don't know, I guess, how do you power through that when every single game, every single year, you're not going to go one-on-one?
You just play ball. That's all you can do. And hopefully, knowing that the D coordinator going to draw something up to get you them opportunities. And like Matt said, hoping the guys around you going to start being productive, making them plays to the point where all right, well, let's show a little attention to this guy over here, right? And then that's when you get your one-on-one opportunities, right? So it ain't just baiting and making all focus on just one person. If they continue to do that, then other guys around you should be eating, having a day, right? And just, living in the backfield. So you got to depend on guys around. You got to depend on the D coordinator drawing up the exotic blitzes, the different things you can do, the overload fronts you can do, put you on the backside of the overload front, try to get you a one-on-one. So it's a lot that go into it, man. I know. I played to Todd a million times, calling Todd about that when I was playing. Like, God damn, man, I can't get no freedom over here. It's like, it's a headache, man. But
and then I told you, just don't worry about it. Keep taking care of 3 guys so Leonard Floyd can get paid. Right. And that's exactly what happened. I said, you already got your contract, man. Let Leonard get his money. So I was like, just
did.
That's not what you wanted to hear. No, I'm kidding. You did. You did complain, but it wasn't really a complaint. It was frustration, but it was like every star, whether it was Michael Jordan, everyone didn't want him to beat him either, but somehow the best of the best do what they do. And that's what you did. And clearly the double teams and triple teams didn't work, or you can give all the credit to your D coordinator, however you want. But at the end of the day, you were making things happen, which was amazing.
Talking about guys who need to step up, wide receivers in Miami, wide receivers in New York, guys have to step up. A brutal weekend for Malik Nabors and Tyreek Hill. Just feel for those guys and their families and what they're going through with obviously looks like season-ending injuries. Matt, for a quarterback, losing one of your guys has got to be brutal. But in your world, losing a Roddy or a Julio Jones, how do you overcome that?
Well, I think you talk about 2 of those football teams, and you're talking about 2 quarterbacks that are in wildly different parts of their career, right? And so I think it's exponentially more difficult as a young player for Jaxson Dart to lose kind of that one-on-one safety blanket that's out there. Like, I would always feel like when you have one of those elite wide receivers, it makes things simple. That like AD's getting double teamed all the time, that these guys are going to have help over the top, right? And so that's opening things up for other guys. But it makes things simple in that when you do get those one-on-ones, you don't have to overthink it. Go give them a chance, put the ball up in the air, give them an opportunity to make a play. And so, when you lose a guy like Malik Nabors and you're a young quarterback, I think it's going to be difficult to overcome. I really do. And they've got some pieces like Wan'Dale Robinson's a good player. They've got some other pieces at the wide receiver position, but they're guys that are unproven, that are going to need to step up. And so I think, I watched that game last week, and I think Dable did a good job of running the football, like using Jaxson Dart, getting outside the pocket or kind of design QB runs. And I think you're going to see a steady diet of that throughout the year, but that's tough. I never had to go through that really, like season-ending injury early. We had stretches where we missed, Julio for 3 or 4 weeks here or there, or Roddy for, 3 or 4 weeks. I remember he had a high ankle sprain one time to start the year. So it's tough, but that's the league, right? Like the league is guys are going to get injured, right? And depth is so important. I will say this though, for Jaxson Dart, I think the one thing that's nice as a young player is when you don't have that bona fide number one, you don't feel pressure to kind of over target him, right? And so there's this sense of, okay, like that burden, that weight is off. It's a good weight to have. It's a good burden to have, but that weight is off. And so now I just go, wherever I'm supposed to go in terms of my progression or whatever, I just let it rip. I'm not worried about trying to overcommit to one guy.
So how y'all thought that the young quarterback did in the Giants with his debut? You feel like he looked like he's the future? He looking good? What's your thoughts?
I mean, it's a small sample size, AD. One game,
I know, I'm saying,
one game.
He looked strong running the ball, but I'm talking about as far as throwing the ball. What was your thoughts on some of them passes he was putting out there?
Yeah, I think they did a good job. They didn't overexpose him, right?
Yeah.
Like they didn't put too much on him too early. And I think that's going to be their recipe for success of not putting too much on him too fast. I thought the throws he made, he looked good. I think more so than anything, his body language, right? We've talked about this on the show, like for a handful of weeks in a row, right?
He bring the juice.
I think young players' body language, right, AD? And like
he brung it.
Yeah, exactly.
He brung a swagger to him,
spark,
energy, all that good shit. Yeah, man.
And so, I take away that, from watching his performance. I think that's as significant as anything. And I think, AD, you can speak to it, right? You feel that. You feel that on the other side of the ball. You feel that in the locker room. You feel it on the flight home. You feel it, you feel that energy from those guys. And I think that's something that's good as a young player.
Yeah, he definitely he bring a spark to that locker room for sure.
Yeah, speak to that, AD. What I guess on the defensive side of the ball, when an offensive star goes down, do you feel more burden, more pressure to step it up, knowing that your guys on the other side are hurting a little bit?
Well, we always say next man up, right? You trust that the next man's gonna be up and be prepared, but you do feel like, all right, let's step it up a little bit more, D. We got to do a little bit more this time. One of our dogs is down. One of our soldiers is down. I know it's on the offensive side, but same thing if it's on the defensive side of the ball. We got to step up and do a little bit more now. But I think they're looking good, man. I think they got a nice little spark going on in that locker room, something to feed off, something to look forward to, and I think hopefully they go on a little run. But we're gonna see.
Todd, when a player goes down with an injury, whether it's they're out for a week or two, or in this case, season-ending injuries, how does that affect their contract?
Yeah, that's a loaded question because the contracts aren't all vanilla. They're not all the same across the board. But there's a tweet out there. I don't know if you saw it, but it talks about, Tyreek Hill has $1.8 million in per game roster bonuses, and now he's going to lose, 1.4 of it. And what that means is basically he was making around $100,000, $105,000 a game for every game he's dressing. Well, obviously he's out for the season, so he's not dressing the rest of the time. So 105,000 times whatever it is, 14 games or whatever, it's about 1.4 million that he will lose, as opposed to having that money just in your paragraph 5 salary contract. Paragraph 5 refers to the contract, but basically in your base salary, and whether you're playing or not playing, you get that money. So you much rather have it in the actual base salary as opposed to in per games. But you got to remember, these teams, they're set up they literally hedge against their bet. They hedge their bet on the player. They put in language to, recoup money if there's a possibility to recoup it, like maybe put fine language in there to where guarantees void. They put structure in there to where the contract guarantees don't kick in at a certain point. They have the clawback on the per games if a guy gets hurt, and all those different things. And that's the NFL. And that's the job of the agent, right? To put the best possible contract together to make sure in all scenarios, all situations, your player's going to get paid and actually see the money, because the headline is irrelevant. The devil is in the details on these deals.
Yeah.
Well,
you mentioned the guarantees, right? Because that's all everybody says, focus on the guarantees. It could be a 5-year, $200 million contract, but only $20 million of it is guaranteed. Obviously, it's a little extreme and I'm making that up. But I was reading conflicting reports about Tyreek's contract that he's set to make, fully guaranteed $11 million next year. Is that whether he's back in time, or from what you can gather, is that accurate?
So yeah, there's different things out there, but what I think I haven't looked at it, but my guess is that he's got $11 million guaranteed, but that's for a guarantee that becomes guaranteed in March of 2026. And when you have a contract structured that way, then basically what has to happen before March of 26, the Dolphins make a decision. And if their decision is to move on from him, then yeah, he doesn't get that $11 million and the team can walk away from him. However, the player does have an opportunity to file for injury protection, which is basically $2 million, I think, next year. So he can get $2 million if he doesn't play football next year at all. If he plays football, then he can't get that. But that $11 million is only, quote unquote, guaranteed if he's on the roster next year. So again, another example of a team putting a structure together where instead of guaranteeing it like in a perfect situation, and I'm not second guessing anyone's contracts or structure because everyone's situations are different. But, for me, when I'm doing a contract, contract, if I have guaranteed money in year 3 of a 5-year deal, I don't want that guarantee to become guaranteed in year 3. I want that to become guaranteed either from day 1
Early.
or, at a worst case, vest the year before. So in year 2, year 3 already becomes guaranteed. And the only way a team can get out of paying that 3rd year guarantee, because year 1 and year 2 are guaranteed, is cut in before year 2, which means they're paying them 1 year $1 gazillion. They can't do that. It wouldn't work that way. So again, teams are smart. Agents, are smart and have to structure things the right way to make sure that the player's actually going to see the money versus what the headline is, because the devil's in the details, and what the headlines aren't always what reality is.
Let me ask you a quick follow-up on the injury settlement that he could get, $2 million. He was set to make roughly $30 million. So is it a percentage of what the client, what the player will make in the upcoming year, or is it structured by position? How does the injury?
It's a set number in the CBA without getting too complicated. Yeah.
So you're going to make 30 and get hurt. That's devil's in the details, man. That guaranteed money up front, man. That's brutal.
You let Todd do that contract, baby. He would have got it all. He would have got everything, baby. He gonna structure that thing, make sure you good,
I mean, listen, as an agent, for me, when I think about it, I got to sleep at night, and I got to think of all these worst case scenarios for you guys. I can't assume that you're going to get a second deal. I can't assume you're going to make it to year 3. I actually assume the exact opposite, that you're never going to get another deal and you're not going to see year 3. And how is my guy going to be set up for life? Because at the end of the day, that's the pressure I put on myself, is how does my player set up financially for life? Because there are no do-overs in this business. This isn't monopoly. It's real money, real business.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions at stake, and you got to do it right.
So I remember signing my 3rd contract with the Falcons. Todd was a part of that, and the deal gets done, right? And, at the end of this deal, they're just saying, just be patient. We're getting the details right. We're doing all of this. The numbers are agreed to, whatever. We're just making sure everything's set up correctly. So I didn't have any injury void or any of that stuff, basically. It was just, the guaranteed money was the guaranteed money. And it was however Todd and Tom Condon at the time had it set up. So I had all of this guaranteed stuff, but there was an insurance agent that came to me and he was like, hey, I've gone through this, and the only thing that you're not guaranteed to get all of this money for is death. So he's like, we need to insure that in case you die, you get all of this too. And I'm like, oh man, I don't think I'm going to die before the end of this contract. But the level of detail that these people will go to make sure that it comes to you.
I think at that point I would have said to the insurance guy, I'm self-insured by the amount of money I've already made in my life. I'm good. I don't need it. I don't need to do that.
My family's got a lot more problems than what they collected on that final year of the deal. First ever NFL regular season game in Dublin over the weekend. What do you guys think of that? You guys, I know, Matt, I covered you overseas. It was a lot of fun traveling, experiencing different cultures in different cities, different foods. But as a player, man, Rodgers was pretty adamant about wanting to get over there early and throwing you out of your routine. So just your overall thoughts on taking a home game, away from your home fans and going international.
I mean, listen, I think it's good for the league overall.
Yeah.
You talk about ways to find growth, and as players, ways you want contracts to continue to go up and numbers to be higher and all of those things. I think this is one of those ways. So I do think it's good for the league. I don't know about you, AD. I feel like playing in LA, having to go to those international games has to be way more difficult. From the East Coast, it's not that bad, right? If you're going to London or you're going to Dublin, the flight isn't that bad. The time change, kind of sucks, but it's not that bad, right? And so I always felt like as a player from the East Coast, it wasn't I enjoyed both of my experiences over there. One time we went for the entire week, and it was cool to kind of be there and experience that for the week. The other time we left on a Thursday night, and both times by game time, I felt good to go and ready to go. I'm curious though, AD, coming from the West Coast and having to go to London, because the Rams got that coming up in a couple of weeks.
Didn't you go to Jacksonville? Because I remember coming down to visit you in Jacksonville before you were going to London, maybe? Is that right?
Yeah, we played Jacksonville, then we stayed out Jacksonville, then from Jacksonville we flew to London. So I think it's good. I just don't like it because it get my routine, right? You kind of got your own little structure, what you want to do for the week, your massages, steam room. You just got a routine that you do every single week and kind of throw that off. I don't know for you, Matt. It ain't never felt like you threw out your routine and felt like a little uncomfortable.
I'm just saying a proper agent would have had that prepared for you when you landed in London. There'd be some steam rooms or massages set up.
I don't know what the Rams were doing. We had our massage therapists. Everybody came. So for us,
it wasn't in my own environment. It wasn't like my norm.
My bad.
I'm
didn't have the vibe. You didn't have the same vibe that you're.
AD has his own spa.
Got it.
He's got
Got
his
it.
own spa inside his house, and so it wasn't his own spa.
I need to be in my own space, man. I want to see my family, hug my kids. Like, they
No,
didn't trouble with me when I did that.
Yeah,
so it's just
100%.
it just kind of throw me off. I know, and when I went out there, I wasn't going on like going dinners and going to go see the town. I'm strictly there for business, right? So it was just, for me, that's just I like to be in my comfort zone, man. It was a little out my comfort zone for me.
This is where the NFL is so different from other professional sports, right? In the capacity, we don't travel. You know, when you're talking about NBA players or NHL or baseball, these guys are on the road in the NBA 40-plus games a year and back-to-backs and gone for stretches of a week, 10 days, 2 weeks. Like, I don't think people realize when you're in the NFL, if you don't have a London game or something like that, you're gone 9 nights a year, right? Like your 8 road games or your 9 road games and whatever it is in the preseason, you know, and you're in and out. So we're really, I do think that's the difficult thing, because I think guys are creatures of habit, right? Like, you get into your routine. We travel so rarely that it's a little bit different. But, you know, all in all, I think everybody would say they're positive experiences.
Do the teams still keep, like, is it the same, like, if you're going somewhere, is it the same food? Like, I know if you travel personally, like, food is different, right? But, like, at the hotel, do they try to, like, I don't know, bring food from back in the States? Like, how is that? Or is it just more local stuff and just not quite the same type of burger or whatever it might be?
One year we was eating whatever was out there in London, and I ain't like the food at all. I think, but our last year
no
we
fish
did
and chips for AD.
It just I don't know, it was the seasoning or something with it. It just wasn't right for me. It just wasn't good. No, but I think our last year we did. I think they did a better job with, like, our food was a lot better. I don't know what they did, what they brought, where they got it from, but it was a lot better than the prior years when we was out there. So
is it cool, the different stadiums? Like, you know, you played at most NFL stadiums, but, like, you might be playing in a soccer venue or whatever it might be. Is it cool, or is it just another stadium you don't even pay attention?
See, the thing with me, I love the environments. I love going to different environments. I like the loud stadiums that's packed, even in them away games. I feed off energy. So if I'm in a stadium, if it's loud as hell, like, that just get me juiced up, right? I feed off that type of energy. It's just, you know, for me, I always like that type of environment. It's just the traveling away from my family, not to my normal schedule kind of thing. So it was a little off for me. What about you, Matt?
Yeah. I thought the stadiums were awesome. We played in Tottenham, the Hotspur Stadium. That stadium's unbelievable. I mean, it's as nice as any NFL stadium.
Locker rooms too?
Locker rooms, unbelievable.
Yeah,
they have it
nice.
built specifically for NFL games coming over there. So, I mean,
Wow.
It's not small. It's massive. So it's an incredible place to play. And then the other time we played at Wembley, and I feel like, you know, there's so much history in terms of soccer and all of the things and incredible games that have been played there. So I thought both stadiums were really good. The grass in Wembley kind of sucked, but it's different. I'll tell you a funny story. So the year we went over for the entire week, we practiced at Arsenal, their training facility. And I mean, unbelievable training facility. You drive in, they've got this little building and then this tree-lined road, and it's just soccer pitches, like, for almost a mile. I don't know how long it went, but it's all of these soccer pitches that you drive by. And we went to, like, the last field, and they must water in soccer, they must water the grass, like, all the time to keep the ball skidding and all of that. And we got there for the first practice, and we're flying all over the place. And Mike Smith is like, fuck this, we're done. Get off the field. We're not practicing. And we basically walk through the entire week, which was, like, huge for the players. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, walk through, body was fresh, getting ready to go into that game. But it was cool. It was cool to see. It's really cool to see all of the kind of infrastructure for these English Premier League teams and their setups.
I was covering you guys with the Tottenham Hotspur facility. And to Matt's point, it's this $billion-something mecca, you know, stadium in the middle of a neighborhood. And what was cool from a journalistic standpoint is that when you cover the games in the United States, like, the press boxes are, like, the worst locations everywhere, because you want to have those prime real estate for sponsors or club suites, etc. But the way they do it in English Premier League soccer is just because it's based on tradition. They have media seats, think of it in the NFL, kind of between, like, the 30-yard line. So between the 30 and the 30, down low, and everyone in the media sits in that section. So there you are, maybe 15, 20 rows from the pitch, 20, 30 rows from the field, and you're not sitting up in the corner in the nosebleed. So that was a lot of fun covering those guys overseas.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about, like, how was your experience with the crowd? Because I know when I was there, like, it's so loud. They don't know what they cheering for. They just yelling. Like, as a quarterback, like, how was it for you to have to deal with that? Huh?
I mean, like, they have you're exactly right, cheering at, like, weird times, right? And so I feel like the communication, you'd, like, throw a touchdown pass and there would be, like, no cheering, right? And then they kick the extra point and it'd be, like, going wild. And
Yeah,
like, all right, like, I think the first part was more important, but it was the atmosphere was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't necessarily like football, but it was like an awesome atmosphere and an environment to be in. But it was strange timing, like the cheering and all that stuff was strange timing. But yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah, man.
One thing and one fan base and one team that's not having a blast, the Tennessee Titans. They're 0-4. And AD, I want you to keep it real with me right now. So we're going to play something from Cam Ward, who said, if we're keeping it buck right now. So you're going to educate me on what that means. We're going to keep it buck right now. So here is Cam Ward, a quarterback, the rookie quarterback for the Tennessee Titans after their game, after falling to 0-4.
I mean, if we keeping a buck right now, we ass. We 0-4. We have, at this point, we got nothing to lose. We dropped a quarter of our fucking games, and we've yet to do anything. So we have to lock in, especially myself on the offensive line, from the defensive line, from the special teams to all three faces. We have to play together. We have not played together this year yet.
All right, it's the rookie. If we're keeping it real right now, if we're keeping it buck right now, we're ass.
He's keeping real. He said it. We ass. Ain't no more you can say. He said it plain, straight to the point. I'm keeping it real with y'all. We're ass. We're playing bad football right now. He said it.
They lost 26-0 to a previously winless Houston Texan team, Matt.
Yeah, I mean,
That was funny as hell.
I don't really have anything to add. I appreciate Cam being as candid and honest as he was. Oh my gosh, that was funny. That was funny.
We need to rewind that reaction on the socials for both you guys. That was classic.
Oh man, he's not lying either. They don't look good. They don't look good. Offensively, they don't do anything. They don't do anything. I will say this, Tennessee's defense is not bad. Did you guys see the sack Jeffery Simmons had?
They tried to trap. I don't know if they tried to trap him
on.
or whatever they tried to do. He shot back there so damn fast.
My client, Jeffery Simmons, keep going.
Yeah, that's correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
That guy.
Okay,
That
yeah.
guy.
Thank you for the PR.
We'll shout out. We're impartial to who their agent is. Okay, Todd.
It just
I'm not
happened.
It
down.
just happens to be.
Yeah,
It
it's
just
fine.
happens to be.
That's fair.
Dude, that was one of the best sacks I've ever seen, AD.
Yeah, like they tried to trap him. He did a swim, got upfield before they even got close to him. Quarterback was still dropping back and got him. That's what them was those
Change up
plays.
the cadence. CJ.
Yeah, do something.
CJ,
I like it,
He was
though.
on it.
I like it.
So Todd, you
that play
saying
was not ass. That was a good play.
that was a sick play. Yes, that was great. Speaking of your guy, they're crushed. I mean, he's crushing it, but the team's getting crushed. So what do you tell him to keep his spirits up? You talk to him? You text him this week?
It's not necessarily just him. I'll just say players in general going through times like that. I mean, there's always something to play for, whether it's personal pride, whether it's your current contract, whether it's your future contract. I mean, it's a business. The guys, you have to. I always look at it as, are you an athlete or are you a professional athlete? And at the end of the day, these guys are professional athletes. So they find it, they understand it's a business, and they're playing, the record, obviously, it makes it a little more enjoyable, as you guys would think, going to work every day, knowing you have a chance to win or winning. But at the end of the day, these guys are professional athletes, and there's a lot to play for. So, just keep their head up and keep grinding. At the end of the day, like whatever it is, you got to find your motivation. I
100% agree. And AD, you and I have both been on teams that were not very good. We've had years that were struggles, and you find out more about guys during times like that, more about teammates and coaches and what they're all about in times where it's like, there's nothing to play for, right? Like we're out of the playoffs and you might have 5 or 6 games left in the season, but there is a professional pride, right? I would tell guys all the time, whether you think this matters or it doesn't matter, it matters, because whether you're going to be here, whether you're going to be somewhere else, whether you're going to hang around in this league, what you put on tape
%.
is so, it matters every snap. And so, how you show up regardless of record. I used to learn a lot about teammates, and I kind of respect Cam Ward for laying into it too, right? And being real about, we're a quarter of this season in and we haven't done anything. And we've got 3 quarters of the season to go, if not more. And we got to turn it around. And he's, I think as a young player too, we were talking about Jaxson Dart earlier and his body language. I think I think guys hear that tone too, right? Like they're going to see that clip AD, and he seemed like he was no bullshit right there. This
He
has
looked
got
like
to
a
get
leader.
corrected, and it's got to get corrected now.
He like a leader of that team, right? Little story time. I don't know if you remember this, Todd. In 2016, right? Obviously, first 2 years in St. Louis wasn't good as a team. Our first year in LA didn't do good. Ended up head coach getting fired before the end of the season. And I remember talking with Todd and him on the phone, right? And like, all right, we're gonna start talking to the Rams about, a contract now, right? Extending the contract. And I remember telling him, like, I don't think I want to be here. Nothing bad towards the organization. I don't think I never shared this at all, but I just wanted to win, right? Obviously I was having a lot of individual success and getting the accolades and things like that, but I'm like, I want to be a part of a winning team. I want to have a chance to, experience some good things at the top of the pinnacle as a team, and I just didn't see it at the time with the Rams, right? We didn't have a head coach, didn't know who the head coach was going to be. So I'm like, let's hold off on the contract talk. Let's figure out what's going on here, because I was trying to get out, It wasn't nothing towards the organization. I just didn't see the vision. I didn't know who was going to be there long term as the coach. Obviously, it was a great decision to stay. Obviously, had the great Sean McVay that changed everything around. But I know how frustrating it can be by losing. Like I said, you just got to go out there and keep playing it. They lost 4. It's 0-4, right? It's a long season. Anything can happen. Keep stacking on wins, keep playing, right? I think the leadership on that team, War, I think is showing as a young guy. He looked like a captain of that team, right? He's speaking, holding people accountable. He's speaking out on guys that need to do better, holding himself accountable. I got to do better, right? I think as long as you got good leadership like that, obviously, you got to believe in something. You got to keep finding ways to be productive, keep going out there and playing the game, man, because losing it's a horrible thing. I've been a part of some losing teams, some winning teams, but it ain't easy.
Matt and Aaron, you guys can only do your job, though, if everyone else is doing their job. So, like, keeping people together and keeping the glue and making sure that everyone's going the same way is very important, because if you do see a guy giving up, let's say it's another D lineman, or let's say it's an offensive lineman who's not doing the extras or not studying the film or doing what he's doing, that affects you. So, like, how do you jump on those guys?
You let him know. I don't want him to feel with me if he's like that. If you half-ass and get the fuck out of here. Bye. We don't need that, because you're not going to win like that. That's not a winning culture. As a leader, you got to hold everybody accountable. So if I'm at practice going 100 miles per hour and I got all these accolades and things that I accomplished, follow lead. Lead by example. If I'm going 100 miles running full speed to the ball at practice, you do the same thing. If you half-ass, and I'm going to call you out about that. You got to pick it up. You got to do more. You ain't going to be out there with me. I don't trust you on the side of me if you out there half-assing and ain't doing what you need to do for us to be a successful team. So that's the way I went about it. I don't know how you went about it, Matt, but I always talk about holding people accountable, right? As a leader, setting the tone, what you want how practice to be, how you want the game to be, and typically the young guys are going to follow behind you anyway, right? When you do the extra rep in the weight room, you ain't telling them to come with you. Like, when I worked out, I did 3 workouts during the day when I played, right? In the morning with the team and after practice or before practice. I never told the young guys to come and train with me, but over time, they just naturally started to come in that weight room when I was in there, right? When I was doing the extra rep. Now they want to do the extra reps. So you setting a standard that guys are going to just naturally follow, right? And that's what you need. You need the leaders to be leaders. You need to hold people accountable, and you're trying to, be that team that had the success that you want to have. So
when your best players are the ones who are doing it the right way, it tends to everybody else follow suit. But I think you're so right, AD. Like, guys in the locker room, and I say this about my young boys too, like my sons, they see better than they hear, right? And so, like, you can, chirp, 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 tell them all you want, and you need to say those things, but your actions, like, you doing it, like, that stuff, people see that, and people are watching all the time. And I kind of like, I like that Cam Ward clip too, because it doesn't look like any confidence has been shaken from him. You know what I mean? Like, they're 0-4, they're this, they're that. It doesn't look like he's defeated in any way, right? Like, he's not taking his foot off the gas. And so, like, I think guys are going to feel that too. And I liked it. I like that clip.
Yeah. I want to follow up with one thing, and Todd, with Aaron telling that story for the first time about maybe not wanting to return to LA. AD1, was there a moment that you're like, all right, I trust the process, I'm going to stay here? And Todd, what was your advice to AD back in the time to, just be patient and understand his frustrations, but also guide him on what you thought would be best for he and his family?
I mean, you always want to hear what the player has to say, and it's your client and your job is to fulfill what they want. But at the same time, you're not a robot and you're not just a yes guy. You want to give them the other side of the coin too. And the grass isn't always greener and that type of stuff. You got to be careful what you ask for.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you necessarily get to go somewhere and where you want to be or it's going to be any better. At the end of the day, you got to have patience. And the absolute number one thing is don't have that conversation right after a game. Like give it 48 hours, let the emotions come down, because when you start talking out of emotions, you're not talking rational and that becomes a non-productive conversation. So have the conversation, let it sit, maybe go through another game, have another conversation. Things can completely be different, 6 days later, a week later. So, again, but hear what they have to say also. But again, not be that robot and share back other sides of things and other examples to where they need to look at it from a different set of lenses.
Yeah. Well, what changed for me was this young coach by the name of Sean McVay. I remember going into the Four Seasons to meet him, and they was in this meeting room. I remember walking in like, where the coach at? I see this young guy get up, walking up to me. I'm like, there's no way he gonna be the head coach. He about 30 years old at the time. Little, look young as hell. He comes up to me. I'm like Coach Sean McVay. I'm like, how you doing? He said, yeah. And we was just talking. I'm like, there ain't no way this young ass coach is gonna be able to do this, man. But talking to him, he talked about holding people accountable, right? He just had a standard to him, right? He said everything he was supposed to say, but you just never know until you on the field with them. You get to, experience these things. And fast forward to 2017, right? Our first year, my first defensive player of the year, our first year going to the playoffs. We know we lost to Matt and them guys. F y'all.
That's right.
But he changed the culture, right? Prior to him coming there, during practice, guys is laying on the bags while the offense is on the field, defense is laying on the bags. We talking, right? And then that culture changed to when the offense is on the field, everybody standing, paying attention, in tune with what's going on, right? That's the little things when it pertains to having a winning team, right? And he brought that culture to us and changed everything around, and the rest was history from there, man. So obviously, like Todd said, the same things he was saying, he said to me, and as a young guy, just being frustrated, not knowing what the future's going to hold. The coach that, drafted you there, now he's fired. It's like everything is just going downhill, right? And it's like not knowing what to expect. And then, everything played out how it was supposed to play out for the best, man. And we did some special things together, man. And he's still doing some great things. So it's tough, but, it's
Zach,
football for you.
We'll put a bow on the Cam Ward on this one, but I'm curious, when you have something like that, somebody drops an F-bomb, somebody says something, and I don't think Cam has to apologize for anything he said. I think he's fine. But there are certain situations like that, right? Where a media, you're in there, somebody says something. Is there ever conversations are the Falcons ever reaching out to you being like, hey man, it'd be great if you didn't use that, or can we talk about this before, or an agent's calling you or something like that?
And so wait, do they do that, one? And two, do you listen to them if they do?
No, never listen to them too.
But
we go back to the beginning of this podcast when we were talking about the fines, and we had Tyler Algier when he said, can I talk about this? And you had David Bassity, the vice president of communications for the Falcons, say, no, you cannot talk. He's shaking his head in the background. So Algier is one of the, BYU guy, but he swears all the time in our interviews. So sometimes you get guys that is their normal conversation. They're dropping swear words, which is always refreshing and fun. But I would love to have that real talk that you had with Cam right there, man. He kept it real. He was so honest. And to your point about the leadership and guys feeding off that in the locker room, like, shit, man, we might be 0-4, but my guy's got some swagger and he's got some confidence. No, they don't reach out. They don't try to tell you to shelve it. They do on other certain things, but language is not one of them.
I was going to say, what about playing time or any of those things? Is there ever conversations that they call you and are like, hey, we'd really appreciate, I would think only maybe personal issues that are going on.
For sure. And, and listen, we try to do them a solid, because I'll get heads up on certain things that the guys are having off the field, and I'll reach out to the head of security or reach out to them and say, listen, this is what's going on. It's a personal issue. We found out about it, deal with it. And then if there's something you want to add for context or color, if you guys do want to make it public, then, work with me or something like that. What I try to do with everything we talk about, guys, is if I get a nugget or a storyline, I'll reach out to the team or the GM, the head coach, whoever it might be, and I'll say, listen, anything you want to add on the record, anything you want to add on the off the record, or anything you want to add on background. And there's been times where, the guys have asked me to hold a story, but to me, it was not relevant to what's going on. It wasn't an injury to a Matt Ryan or an Aaron Donald that would be, very, very noteworthy information. To be something just dumb. And I would, but the team, it was important. So we would shelve that. So it's part of the information game. I know Todd plays it all the time with his guys that he has throughout the league. It's a very important part of the process.
I don't play any games. I don't
Todd
play
plays
any
no
games.
games.
I play very straight, direct. There's no riddles in everything I say. So what about it for like the 49ers and the Jaguars? We have that little head coach and defensive coordinator kind of going at each other. Would a team ever say something to you about that? Number one. And number two, my question would be if you could interview only one of them, the head coach or the D coordinator, who would you want to interview after the game?
With AD, Matt, do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so for those of you who are listening on audio devices, we're showing video right now from our sister station in Jacksonville, Action Sports Jax, that grabbed video following the Jaguars 49ers game of the San Francisco defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, who earlier in the week was talking about the Jags, saying they got legally a really advanced signal stealing type system where they're always finding a way to put themselves in an advantageous situation. So he says that they're cheating, but it's legal, respect to them. And then after the game, we're going to show the video again for those who are watching this on YouTube. The two, Liam Cohen, the head coach for the Jags. And
Liam, my guy. That's my guy.
All right.
He was the Rams for a few years early in his career. That's my dog.
Now, listen, I don't think Liam wants anything to do with Robert right there.
Why you say that?
Well,
he said something. He said something.
He said, "Keep my name out of keep my name out of your mouth." But yeah, you notice he bows up to Saleh like when he's got 6 guys between him.
Yeah,
like
he's got a lot
shit
of
when he was
offensive
right next to the
linemen
guy.
around him, man. He had a lot of big dudes next to him.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he ready to go to war, man. My dog ready to go to war.
That's the equivalent of me talking shit standing behind Aaron Donald.
I know. If I'm a player, I'm clowning. I'm clowning it. If I was with the Niners, I'm gonna just talk stuff, just get shits and giggles, talking shit to the. Damn, you gonna let that man come up to you, check you like that? And if I'm with the Jaguars here, coach, I'm laughing at him like, damn, big dog, I don't want no problem.
Yeah.
Big dog.
Did you see the offensive lineman tap him on the shoulder like after he turned and walked away? That shit was hilarious. He gave him the little, "Hey, it's good, man. It's good."
We're watching it one more time. You got to check it out. It was great stuff.
Who would you rather talk to after that?
Right after the moment I would rather talk to Robert Saleh because he was obviously heated up and they lost. What I would ask him, what was said, and if no one was between you and Liam, what was going on?
Hey, who you think winning?
He might have lost it right there, man.
Yeah,
we would have easiest look in his eye.
And then he would have tackled Zach, which would have gone viral. It would have been unbelievable.
He was fantastic. That was great stuff. I want to talk a little college football here. I was at the Georgia game in Athens over the weekend when they took on Alabama, and give it up to what Kalen DeBoer and the Crimson Tide were able to do. They've now knocked off Georgia 10 times in 11 games, and during the first half, I don't know if anybody saw this. Caden Proctor is a 6'7", 366-pound offensive tackle. AD's already smiling. Did you see this play, AD?
Yeah, I seen it.
Okay, so we're going to show it right now on YouTube. You can check it out on audio. So basically, Ty Simpson's their quarterback. The big fella lines up at the top of your screen in a wide receiver motion, and then the rest is history. Just watch and observe.
Well, they don't want They don't want none of that. They don't want none of that.
So the big fella takes it down inside the 5-yard line. They've been practicing this for a long time. So many questions. AD, for you, did you ever talk to McVay, the boy genius, and say, listen, I got hands. I got some athletic ability. Get me in on offense. Let's have a lot of fun. Throw me the rock.
I tried my whole career. My rookie year, we had something with Coach Fish. We had a goal line playing for me. Where I get the ball, hand the ball.
You were running it?
I was running it. And then another one, I go to the flat, and I'm right here, and we practice it and everything. We never ran it. And with Sean, I used to beg Sean all the time, let me get a goal line play. Coach, you're like, get your ass out of there. You can't afford for you to get hurt. I'm like, man, pick me in, coach. Put me in.
Yeah.
I just never got that love, man. I wanted to get me a touchdown, but it's all good.
Let me explain to you how this works with defensive guys. They chirp you. They tell you all the time. And then you finally go to the coordinator, and you're like, hey, just put it in practice. We'll tell him it's in the game plan. That's just really not in there. All right? He's going to feel better about it. He's going to think this thing is coming all the time. Have his helmet ready on the sideline when we get down to the goal line, and then never hear the personnel grouping.
Man, Sean, he ain't even never draw up for me. He never drew nothing up for me.
He didn't even give you the time of day.
He ain't even give me the time of day. I'm like, golly, man, let me just get one touchdown. That's it. It's all good, though. I still love him.
I
What
love
about you,
that.
Matt? Favorite trick play for you?
My favorite trick play was a touchdown pass we hit against the Buccaneers to Ty Sambrello. We got it queued up right here. We got the big man going down the seam right here. He scores from like 30 yards out. This is like Saleh sign stealing or whatever, but this is, we had a key on these guys. We put in a jumbo tight end. We put Ty in as a jumbo tight end. And when you put somebody outside of him, they just discounted them in the passing game, assuming he was blocking or something like that. So we put that little action in. And Dirk Cutter was our coordinator at the time. He's like, man, this is going to work. It's going to work. And like it,
great
I
hands
get there
by the
under
big
center.
man. Great hands.
Yeah,
Was that the
good
first time?
hands,
Was
good
that the
hands.
first time you ever ran that?
Yeah, it was the only time we ever ran it.
Oh, that's why.
It was
Okay.
right here. We put
I'm
it.
like, he's just running up the field by
action.
He ain't see him running out. He ain't gonna show
Exactly.
no
The
respect.
linebacker would blitz when they were in 11 jumbo or whatever. They would bring it on, so we showed the little run action. In my head, I'm like, there's no way this is gonna work, right? Like, of course somebody's gonna be there. So like when I fake this handoff and I'm like riding this to my left and see him wide ass open, I'm like, oh my God, this is
So
awesome.
number 80 on the right of your screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, audio, check out the YouTube version. So that's the tight end. But
That's
don't
the
you have
tight
to
end.
declare? Don't you have to declare number 74 eligible?
He was, yeah.
Yeah, he
He
did.
came in, declared eligible.
They ain't pay attention to him, probably.
Yeah, exactly. We had run so much of this kind of weak inside zone or outside zone right there off of that set, and they were firing the backer through, who was responsible for him in man coverage. We got the look. It was awesome. Ty was all fired up. So that was probably the best trick play we ever had.
I can guarantee you, in every meeting room, defense was preparing for that play. If they came up, you would have came out to that again.
No
they
doubt.
would have been ready for that. Everybody,
No
hey,
doubt.
They
You only get
ran it one
once.
time. They got a touchdown. But if they
Yeah,
come out
you
to
only
this,
get it
make
once.
sure y'all pay attention to that guy going out, man. So
80,
That's
when
crazy.
an offensive lineman declared themselves eligible, were you paying attention to it? You're like, man, I ain't gonna
well, you
catch
got
a
that. You
pass.
practice it, but there was times we got. I think Titans beat us with one of those before. You practice those things if you see it on film and get prepared for it. So you prepare yourself for it. But sometimes them little DBs fall asleep on them big guys going out. Don't think that he ain't catching nothing on me, and then he get a touchdown on your ass, and then we clowning you. You got, you know what I
Yes.
mean? So it's one of those type of things.
Shout out to Ty. I haven't seen him in a long time. That was a cool touchdown.
Game ball worthy for sure from that moment.
No
right
doubt.
there.
He definitely
That
got a
was.
game ball.
And that was a
Speaking of game
30-yarder too.
That
No
was,
doubt.
right? He took it to the house.
Yeah.
80, who you giving out a defensive game ball for week 4?
Man, there was a lot of good defensive players this week. I'm gonna just give some love to some guy. I think TJ Watt played good, a sack, an interception. Jared Verse was playing physical, 6 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, was getting some good pressure. Shout out to my guy Cam Curl. He had 2 interceptions. Burns, man, from the Giants. That boy playing some good football. And that celebration, I don't know how he been like that. I don't get it. I don't know how he could do that with all them pads on. But my top guy this week, man, I gotta give it to Hutchinson with Detroit. I think he had a day, 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He had a bunch of quarterback pressures where he affected some big third downs, got him off the field early, man. So he's playing some good ball right now. I know the season started off slow for him, but he's heating up right now, man. And Detroit's on fire, and that guy Hutchinson, he's on fire right now. So hey, hat off to him, man. Let's go. Clap him
Salute.
up.
I love it.
Good
I
shit,
love
man.
it.
Let's keep it
How
up.
about-
Hutchinson. Keep it going, big dog. Keep it up.
How about a little honorable mention to Dexter Lawrence? Did you see him returning that one where he got tackled right?
I forget
He
the
was
pick.
close.
Oh, my
He
God.
was
Hey,
close. It was a nice pick. Good
Hey, what they
hands
call
from the
him?
big man.
Big sexy Dexy.
Yeah, big sexy Dexter, man. Big man balling right there going down the field. That was cool.
Good shit, big dog. Good shit.
That was
man.
cool.
2-minute drill time. Matthew, what do we got this week?
Okay, our order. We're going to go, Zach, why don't we start with you? Why don't we
Let's do
start
it.
with you? I'm going to get my clock queued up right here. Make sure we're staying on time. Everybody can see it. We're starting here. All right, ready, Zach? It'll go Zach, Todd, AD. Zach, Todd, AD. All right, here we go, Zach. Hey, Ryder Cup was this past weekend.
Oh.
We were talking about tie ball games. Should the Ryder Cup, if it were to end 14-14, should it end in a tie?
No, I would love it for have either a chip off, a drive off, or something like that. The worst part about the whole thing, and I know I'm taking a lot of time, is that when Victor Hovland had that injury.
Oh, that was
he had
going to
to
be my
pull-
next question. We'll go
Oh,
right
I
to it.
apologize. All right.
No, what do you think? So should they get a point? Should you get docked a point if somebody gets injured, or should it be a half like it is?
You should lose the point.
Lose the point.
I think it was you. What do you think? You're the big golfer.
No, you are too. I don't know.
You should
we could
split it
spend
for
all
sure.
2 minutes longer than
2 minutes,
Yes.
fellas.
We'll
Come on,
move
2
on.
minutes. Come on, let's go.
The
All right, here we
worst
go.
2-minute drill
Todd.
ever.
Todd, all right, trade deadline's November 4th. Usually activity starts to pick up between now and then? Any crazy trades you see happening in the month of October?
No, I can't. It's too hard to predict. Too early.
Too hard. Okay. AD, Pitt, BC this weekend. All right. Who you got number one?
H2P, hell to Pitt. We got that all day. Pitt holding it down.
Okay. All right. What is the action here? What are we doing on this game? What does the loser got to do?
Shit, I don't know. Let me think about that for a second. What you got an idea?
Oh, that's bringing props.
I think you got to wear this thing next week. I think you got to wear this thing
Let's
next
go.
week. BC gets it done. You're in this helmet.
I got a Pitt helmet for you to put on there. Let's do that.
Are you guys going to send it to each other?
I could.
Let's do that, and we got to wear it for at least a good amount of the podcast next week. You got to do that. You got to wear it the whole time.
You got to do a whole segment in the helmet.
Let's
go. Do a whole segment
I like
in the helmet.
Let's go.
I've never been more interested in the Pitt BC game ever.
Let's go.
It might take 2 weeks to get this done. So it may not be next week's episode, but we'll send the helmet out to you, whatever.
There you go.
This shit ain't going to fit on your head.
Matt, was that your helmet?
2 minutes over. 2 minutes is over. You only get
2
one
minutes. That was the worst
today.
2 minutes you'll ever. Matt, is that is that your helmet?
What
Yeah,
size
that's my
helmet
helmet,
is it?
man?
What
from
size helmet
college.
is it?
My helmet. It's like a large. This thing's not going to fit on your head.
Not
dude.
going to be
It's getting
comfortable.
tight as shit on mine.
I gotta look dumb as hell. This gonna be like
just like this.
like
Just
that.
like
oh,
this.
Man.
It'll be funny when you send me yours too, because it'll be swimming
gonna
on
be
my
loose
head.
as
I'll
hell.
look like a little kid. I'll look like a little kid. All right, we went 202 this week, so you only
Those are
get
good
one question
questions.
each. But I thought they were good questions.
For those of you out there who want to get involved in the show, like, comment, hit us up on all our socials, and ask the guys the question. All four of us are here for you. It's a part of the family, the Inner Circle fam. So much love for you supporting the show. We did get someone reaching out on Instagram, or Melissa. She says, I love my Rams, but I feel so bad for A.D. Mitchell, who lost the ball, who's going across the goal line in that game. Is there a process to see a sports psychologist for each team? I would say yes, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And how important are they? What are the roles of them? And how often would you guys go to see them when things are going well? And obviously in AD's situation when you turn the ball over at the goal line.
Mental health is a real thing in the NFL and in life, whether you're a player or just a regular person. And the teams are very well equipped with therapists and that type of stuff to help the players for whatever's going on, whether it's an on-field situation or it's a personal situation. I mean, there's definitely the help is there for sure.
Yeah, and it's not only the organizations. I reached out to Todd recently.
Yeah.
About recommendations for somebody that I had met that was looking for help in that space. And I mean, it's agents, it's everywhere. So yeah, I mean, but I know every organization I was a part of had somebody there during the week,
Yep.
That you go to with anything that you had on your brain.
Thank you for the question. And again, if you guys and gals out there have more for AD, Matt, Todd, myself, just hit us up on all of our pages and let us know how we can connect with you guys throughout the show. As we wrap up this episode 5 of the Inner Circle podcast, what are we looking forward to this week? Todd wants all his guys to stay healthy. I'm looking for a little rest. Matt, AD, what do you got going
time
on?
out. I have something I'm very much looking forward to.
No.
Yes. So again,
Really?
yes, Zach. So don't speak for me. I'm very much looking forward to nothing on Sunday. I mean, obviously Sunday, but really Saturday. I'm looking forward to this Pitt BC game. I'm going to be tuning in. And I can't wait to see what happens for sure. And on
nobody's more fired up for 1-3 Boston College taking on 2-2 Pitt than Todd France.
Hey, in our 3-way group text, me, you, and AD, Zach will let you know what happens.
Out of that. Thanks, boys. Appreciate you, man.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt. What do you got?
No, I'm looking forward to it. Listen, it's week 5, beginning of October, week 5. I feel like you know your football teams at this point. You know, you've kind of figured out who you're going to be, who's healthy, who's not healthy. I think this is where the season really starts to take off and you see teams, starting to become themselves. So I'm looking forward to a great weekend of football, both college and NFL, but looking forward to being back in the studio. We've had a weird couple of weeks on NFL Today on CBS, and so this week's just a normal week, which is going to be fun, back into the routine. AD?
Yeah, it's a rival week. Thursday night football, Rams and 49ers, baby. So I'm tuned in, ready for my guys to do work, man. Nice rival week, man. So let's go Rams.
Get ready, AD. Get ready, AD. Get ready.
So good. BC, Pitt, Rams, Niners, T-France hanging out doing nothing but watching some college football. A lot of fun, gents. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Inner Circle. Much love. We'll see you guys soon.
See you, boys.